What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Tuesday. That's right, Tuesday, 2/22/22. Fantastic. Make a wish. Wonderful. Let me tell you what we're here to do with some numbers today, though. We're here to talk about the Eagles cap space. I know. What am I getting excited for? That's because we're talking Eagles, baby. So, during this offseason, we've talked about not going to be daily videos, but anytime there's breaking news or any kind of information I can give to you, I will do just that. So, you know me, talking about cap space as much as I possibly can at all times, but I went ahead and did some work for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking this past season about how the Eagles could possibly have $40 to $50 million in cap space. Got a lot of people telling me how this, that, the other thing, it won't work, this, that. Fantastic. Let me show you exactly how it will work. So thank you for tuning in today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great evening. Appreciate you hitting that like button, subscribing to the YouTube channel, hitting that notification bell so you know when to tune in and talk some birds. But let's get into it. Any kind of questions, comments, you guys are confused about anything I'm talking about, or you want to talk about something else, whatever it is, let me hear it, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get this rolling. Let's take a gander at the Philadelphia Eagles' potential cap space for 2022. Now, this is going to be a lot of, talking about people that can be cut, traded, extended, restructured. These are things that Howie is a magician with. So we talk about this now due to the fact that we knew this money was coming. You hear lots of different conversations being had. Will the Eagles trade for someone like Russell Wilson? They've got the money to do it. Will they add a stud wide receiver to this wide receiving corp that desperately needs it? Will they add a couple defensive pieces while drafting an excessive amount of defensive pieces? That would be fantastic. But we are going to look at this money and whatever their hearts desire or whatever your heart desires, hoping that they do with it, I'm going to show you how they can have that money. So let's jump into it. Now, before I get into this, you guys know that there are always differing numbers out there anywhere, from over the cap or Spotrac or anybody, has a different number here or there. I use the NFLPA, over the cap, and Spotrac. All of these guys have different numbers. So going with over the cap on this one, because a guy named Kevin over at Over the Cap, cannot remember his last name, but I will give him a shout out after this video, tag him in it. He did a lot of the dirty work that myself, each year we do this, but there's differing numbers. So there is going to be some difference as the time gets closer, and I have available numbers more. But for now, these guys have a healthy dose over at Over the Cap of some of the numbers we need. So we're just going to stick with what they have right now. And look, we could talk about, I thought Brandon Brooks was here, that, the other thing. We're going to get into all of it. Let's get rolling. So you see here with the Eagles' potential cap space, we start with the effective cap space. Right now, what we're talking about is $12,883,747. Now, they talked about Brandon Brooks adding $12 million in cap space, all of this other fun stuff that's happening. We talk about the rollover. What we do not spend in cap space will roll over. So we have all these things in mind, but right now, the effective cap space that Over the Cap has is a little over 12 million. So we are rolling with these numbers for today, and that will just be, everything is based off of this. So once again, every year we talk about these numbers there are differing things everywhere. So I will keep you up, but this is a very great dose of information here. So I hope you enjoy. But now we're looking at simple restructure. You see here that could save 29 million. That gives you 42 million cap space, and then a maximum restructure could save you 34 mil, giving you almost 50 million. So you're asking yourself, what the hell is a simple or maximum restructure? So I went ahead and gave the actual over the cap definition of what we're dealing with here. So if you're looking at a simple restructure, this just converts the payments into prorated signing bonuses within the confines of the remainder of the contract. Teams typically have the ability to unilaterally execute simple restructures without any action necessary from the player. So you're looking at that. Prorated just means you can spread the money out. I believe the maximum is 5 years. So that's just a simple restructure. The simple things Howie usually does to save this team money, we can save a lot just doing that. Now, if we do the maximum amount of restructuring, that increases the amount of cap space via conversion into prorated signing bonuses. Remember what prorated means, just spread it out, by either extending the contract or adding void years to a contract, years that don't extend the contract but are only used as placeholders for the proration. Maximum restructures are typically considered a renegotiation of the contract that requires the player's consent to execute. So when you're looking at something like that, that's one of those bigger deals that you see. They've talked with the player, they're working things out, and boom, you got a new cap number. So there is the simple and there is the maximum. We'll show those numbers again one last time. But you see there with the simples, you have over 42.5 mil there in potential cap space. And then with the maximum restructures, you could have over $47 million. And there's a lot more that goes into it. So we could get more money, we could have less money. But once again, we've talked all year about how this team could be anywhere to 40 to 50 million. A lot of people didn't want to hear that, but I'm telling you, Howie is a magician. You could feel however you want about his missed draft picks, even though he has definitely hit on some. He has for sure missed on some, but the money, that man knows how to handle. Now, let's get into the players that can affect this. Now, we're talking about each player that can either be cut, traded, restructured, extended, whatever the case may be. We're going to take a look at how they can help or possibly hinder this team. Now, we're going to go into this, and we're just going to go into alphabetical order, but these are all of the players, and I'm going to explain it as I go what these numbers mean. But let's jump into the first player. Oh, hold on. We got a comment on the board thinking 28 million at the most. That is incorrect, and I'm going to show you here, Christian. So as we go through here, Derek Barnett up first to bat. Look, this young man, I don't believe will be a Philadelphia Eagle next year. So you're looking at his cap number. He's a little over 7 million right now. And we know that we restructured him last year, did all that great stuff to pretty much prorate and move that money around. So now this brings an interesting topic. So do not be upset this offseason when Derek Barnett is still on this team. And June 2nd, don't be surprised when he's not. As you see here, if he were to be cut or traded before June 1st, that would save us literally $0. If we tried to restructure him again or extend him, that would literally be negative. Anything in the green here with the green numbers is going to be negative money. So that is not going to help. The only thing that will help the Philadelphia Eagles is either cutting or trading, and they each save the same amount of cap space for the Philadelphia Eagles at $5,436,600. So I do believe that Derek Barnett will be cut or traded, and that right there saves $5 million right there. Now, on to the next player. Don't really know why Over the Cap had this guy in there, but he's already been restructured, and we know that he has retired, but his money still counts. And we talked about he's not going to technically retire until June 2nd when it actually saves us money. You see, if we were to let go of him now, it's actually going to hinder us. We've already restructured, done all that great stuff. So we're going to save ourselves, as we know, that $12 million. How that works with this cap on June 2nd, this is showing will give us an additional $1 million at that time. So cannot wait to see the money gained from that. But man, gonna miss Brandon Brooks. What a stud he was. Now, here's an intriguing one. Fletcher Cox. You know that last year he restructured, moved that number down. He was over 20 million in cap space. Now he's a little under 15. Still a pretty hefty price tag for a defensive tackle. Look, a lot of people want to trade him, get rid of him. I understand. They feel he's declined. I still think he's one of the best in the game. But you see here, you know, if you cut or trade him before June 1st, you would be losing a lot of money. So that's not going to happen. Now, post-June 1st, you're looking at $2 million in savings if you were to cut or trade him. Now, you could try to restructure or extend him again and save yourself almost $1 million in cap space. So that's going to be a very intriguing thing to watch. I'm going to watch what we do in the draft. I know we took Milton Williams. It's a guy that can play that defensive end in that 3-4. He can play the nose tackle. He can do a lot of things. I think he's going to get better. But yeah, that's going to really depend what we do there in the draft. We're going to find out. But Fletcher Cox is definitely a name we're going to want to keep our eye on this offseason because, and look, a lot of the time with these players we talk about, you're going to have to wait till after June 1st till you see a lot of moves. So you're seeing why here because of the money. So always important, the money. Yeah. Not so sure he's going to be around, my man. Yeah, I don't think anybody is upset at all. Christian, is anybody out there? This is your last moment to speak up. I don't think so, though. But Christian, let's be real here. We had high hopes for the kid. I mean, a lot of us were really perplexed by why we drafted him at the place we did, but it is what it is. He'll be gone. See you later, man. Have a good one. I will enjoy having that extra $5 million in cap space. Now, on to the next player, Jake Elliott. $5 million. That's a big cap number for a kicker, but a good kicker. So you love having that. And when they're bad, you know they're there. When they're not, everything's fine and dandy. Nobody cares. But you see here, we could save some money, cut or trade. I don't think we go that route. I think a nice restructure, maybe a little extension there for Jake Elliott would go a long way. So prorate that money, save yourself some more cap space, only allow his cap number to be around $3 million, but you could save $2 million right there with Jake Elliott. Up next is Brandon Graham. Look, this guy, he's been here since, oh my God, God's green earth was created. But I'll be real with you. I love the man. I do. And last year, to see him once again, a new defense. You remember what Billy Davis did with him, tried to turn him into an outside linebacker in that 3-4. Well, in this 3-4, he was actually that defensive end. When he went down, we talked about Milton Williams replacing him. It was crazy, man. Kerrigan's not fit for that role. There was just so much going on. I'd love to have him back is essentially what I'm getting at here. But restructuring or extending him is really not going to save you all that much money. But if you were to cut or trade him, you could save yourself some money. But I don't think that dead money is exactly what you want to take on here. So you're looking at a possibility of saving a little bit of chump change if you restructure, extend him. I'd love to see Brandon Graham back here just to help out the young guys and really get this pass rush going, because we were 31st last year, if you remember. And I'm not sure I could stress enough this year how much we need to address the pass rush, whether it's in free agency or draft. How about both? So, yes, please. But Brandon Graham, we could save some money there. Now, up next is Javon Hargrave, sticking with the defensive line here. That's a hefty cap number, $17 million, almost $18 million. If you cut him after June 1st or trade him, you could save $13 million. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. So that's great. But if you look to your right there, you can also save a little bit of money by restructuring, and you could save a little bit more by extending. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I would like to see. Javon Hargrave, still a young buck. He's still got a lot of juice in the tank. So regardless of what they do with Fletcher Cox, I would love to see Javon Hargrave sticking around. So please get that extension working. Up next, the man, the myth, the legend, running in a touchdown in that picture there, Lane Johnson. $15 million cap hit, well-deserved for the best right tackle in the game. Now, you're not going to cut this man. You're not going to trade this man. You're going to hold on to dear life for as long as you possibly can. But one thing you can do is try to restructure or extend him. Now, this man has extended and restructured plenty of times, and so have a few of these guys already mentioned and coming up. So they do whatever it takes to help this team. You love to see it, and Howie knows what he's doing here. So let's save ourselves almost another $5 million. Let's extend Lane Johnson here. So we're going to hold on to him for as long as we possibly can, I hope. So let's see what happens there. Now up next, here's another guy I'd love to see forever, Jason Kelsey, the Iron Man. Not even $6 million in cap space for one of the best centers in the game. Now, we're not cutting him. We're not trading him. But that's also, if he were to retire, that would happen. That's not going to happen. He has said himself that if he's ready to go, he will be back. I think he will be. And let's go. I hope so. For the love of God, we need him. Now, we could save ourselves a little bit of money here if we do restructure or extend. Now, once again, you just prorate that money, spread it out, and it doesn't even matter because they're essentially not even going to be here anyway when you do something like that. So we don't expect Kelsey to be around for much longer. So do what you got to do to add a year, whatever. But I think saving a little bit of money, keeping him around, that is the smart thing to do. Up next, Say Amalu. A lot of people forget about Isaac, banged up last year. Unfortunate, but this dude is definitely part of the future here. He can play guard and he can play center. Landon Dickerson obviously came in, did great at left guard. Maybe he stays there. Maybe Say Amalu goes to right, figures that out until Kelsey retires. Maybe he moves over to center. Maybe Urbig takes over at center, but Urbig hasn't done well at center, so maybe he takes over at right guard. Whatever the plan is, I'd like to see Say Amalu stick around for it. Right now, a $7 million cap hit. That's not good. If you cut or trade him, I'll be real with you. That's a hefty amount of change right there. But for me, I don't want to do that. I think I would keep the $2 million there, take the hit of $2 million and restructure or extend him, keep him around, and let's keep one of the best offensive lines in the game going. I would love to see him healthy, but obviously you want to say that about every player. So it is what it is. Hopefully he gets back to health and he's ready to go next year. Now up next, Darius, big play Slay. Cap number, $22 million. Holy hell. We remember when we traded for him, we moved some money around, did a little dancing with his cap number, got it pretty low. That's because we prorated, moved things around. Well, here we are with a gigantic cap number. Now, a lot of people talk about cutting and trading Darius Slay all of last season. Talked about it with Fletcher Cox and everybody else they wanted to trade. Fantastic. Please, for the love of God, no. Do not do that. Keep Darius Slay, one of the best corners in the game, on the Philadelphia Eagles and allow him to help whoever the hell we bring in to be part of the future. Don't know if Steven Nelson comes back, but we have a lot of options in the draft, free agency. So we're going to talk about those things when we get to those, but I'll be real with you. I need to see Darius Slay, a Philadelphia Eagle, until he retires. Now, let's get that restructure going. Let's maybe extend the man, ensuring that he finishes his career here in Philadelphia. You extend him, you could save yourself $12 million in cap space. That's a pretty hefty amount of change there, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, I'm sure Darius would be down for it. A lot of these things, the players have to be on board with it, but it is what it is. So, let's go, Darius. Do what is right for the team, and let's add some more pieces. Now that you're saying this, I read today some site had 3 bold predictions. One was trading for Russell Wilson. One was signing Mike Williams. Wonder where they got the Mike Williams. And the third was drafted all 3 picks on the defense in the first. Now I'm asking all 3 of those combined would be impossible. All of them combined, yeah, you're not going to get Russell Wilson without giving up your draft picks, and you're not going to have cap space if you bring in Russell Wilson. So for me, you guys know where I stand. I think going the more intelligent, longer route, playing the long game here, where I like Russell Wilson. I think he's fantastic. I've always enjoyed watching him, and you'd be crazy not to want him as your quarterback. The thing for me is, though, I don't want to give away all of our picks and our cap space to get a quarterback. Look, if we were the Rams and we had Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and, Von Miller, and our offense had Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson and Odell Beckham Jr., if that were the case here in Philadelphia, hell yeah, man. Trade it all away. Who cares? We are Super Bowl bound. Unfortunately, that is not the case. If you would have put Matthew Stafford on this team last year, I can assure you we were not winning that Super Bowl. So for me, look, I'm not going to be mad if we have Russell Wilson. I just think giving Jalen Hurts a chance while he doesn't cost you anything is a smart thing to do. Build this entire team up. If he doesn't pan out, then you go after a quarterback the next year, but you've got all of the other pieces built. We need a defense. We need some weapons here. So these are things that are must have, but I understand it. The excitement, you want a 32-year-old quarterback you've been watching the last 10 years, he's fun to watch, but look, I want to be excited for a kid that I watch for the next 10 years, growing into hopefully as good as Russell Wilson, maybe better. That'd be awesome, but only time will tell. So I'm going to stay patient and we'll see what the Eagles do. But Mike Williams for me is the move, we've talked about over and over again. I think adding a free agent wide receiver is a must, and then drafting one too. I think this wide receiver corps, I like Devonte Smith. I like Quez Watkins, and, Jalen Reagor obviously hasn't shown anything, and let's pray to God he's something. But dude, you got to add a free agent. You have to get an Allen Robinson. You have to get a Chris Godwin, a Devontae Adams. But for me, it's Mike Williams, if you can convince him to get away from Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I don't see that happening, but you never know, man. So I'd love it. I would. I'd love to see us trade for Calvin Ridley. I mean, there are so many options here, man, but I'm all about making this team better with all the cap space and all of draft picks we have. Want all 3 picks and don't want to budge on it. Yeah, same here, man. I want to just stack up on young talent and build a beast. So one last player here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at it. Devonte Smith. Now, when you're looking at him, it's like, okay, well, he's a rookie. Don't really understand why you would try to. This isn't going to happen. But like I said, I'm sticking with what Over the Cap had. That way nobody goes, well, Over the Cap. Well, it's all right here. So you see it here. You could try to restructure or extend him, save $500,000. Don't know why that would happen, but sure, I'm not leaving anyone out. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is how the Eagles could potentially reach $47,255,013 in cap space. Nuts. I know, very nuts. And we've talked about it all season. A lot of people, how could we do that? And it's, look, you got to wait till the offseason. We will get more of these numbers, but we all know how Howie works. And the fact that people just don't believe me yet about the cap space is just ridiculous. Because if you remember last year, there was so much misinformation out there, and I just tried to be on top of it. And luckily, here we were on top of it, and there was a lot of confusion out there. So this year, I figured, let's get this out there. Let's get everybody in the loop. And then once more numbers come out, you know me, I'm looking at every site. So I want to be sure I know every number and everything that is possibly going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. So there was, ladies and gentlemen, your Philadelphia Eagles potential cap space for 2022. And I do appreciate you guys taking the time, tuning in tonight, hitting that like button, subscribing to the YouTube channel, turn that notification bell on so you know when I'm going live and we can talk some birds. You know it, man. I'll sign this on Reddick. Dude, there's so many. And hope you're tuning in there, Christian. We're going to be doing throughout this all season. This next couple weeks is going to be the free agent bunch. Then we're going to get into the draft. So stay tuned. We're going to be going through every single position for the Philadelphia Eagles, talking about what we have now, even when it comes to the guys that are free agents, whatever's going on there. Talk about that. And then we talk about the guys that are available via free agency, whether that's an undrafted or restricted, or we'll even talk about the exclusive rights guys that we can't get. Some people get a little twisted, but keeping you up to date with everything you could possibly need to know. And then even some trade candidates in there as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little cap space thing. I know that this is information people always are trying to get. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. Always get back to you guys. You can always reach out to me on any of these platforms. Always down to talk some birds with you. But I appreciate you guys taking the time tonight. Please like this, retweet it, share it, whatever. Let everybody know that the Eagles got some money, baby. Whatever they're saying out there, they're wrong, because we've got some dough. And almost 50 mil. That's a lot. So let's go. But I appreciate you guys. Have yourselves a fantastic night. And if you need anything, regardless of it being about birds or whatever, you know you can always reach out to me. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. So seriously, you just need a friend, you want to talk, always here for you guys. But have yourselves a great night. And as always, go birds!